and legends and fables. The facts get mixed up with the fiction, but the story is told to try to teach humans a valuable principle, a valuable lesson. All right. So AI explained self-reproducing life forms. Many simpler life forms, for example, worms, fish, or even bacteria, can reproduce asexually. This suggests that early life on Earth likely began with a self-replicating entity. All along, I simply said, that's why I'm a Cosmological to teach us the original man is the Asiatic black man, making the only creating planet Earth, God of the universe. Originally, for 10 trillion years, it was only black men on Earth. That's why like women, black men all have nipples. We still had nipples in 2025, you know what I mean? But, we mathematically, the message said, I'll say as Rob in 1974, that we don't look like we did back then. I mean, we evolved from it. Like, back then, we may not have needed eyebrows or fingernails or teeth or what have you. You know what I mean? But we were an original black man. I mean, in whatever lower forms were, until that species reach stage after stage until it reaches its eventual perfection. Do we have proof of this? What man, black man, do you know wasn't a black teenager, or wasn't a black boy, or wasn't a sperm mixed with an egg inside some woman's uterus, or wasn't a sperm cell in some father's testes, or wasn't a single swimming around amoeba life form swimming in water, or wasn't, before it was in the water, floating around in outer space or in our atmosphere 6 miles high as some water molecule, or wasn't alive in some black carbon atom, or wasn't alive in the mind of the creator, or the mind of the original man, or the mind of Allah. We say the mind, they call it energy, or they call it alcoholic, or they call it Yahweh, or Jehovah, or Jesus, or God, or the creator. We say the creator and energy is the same thing. It's synonymous. It's just, y'all talk about the same thing, just in two different ways. Religious people call it God or the creator. Scientists call it energy. We come and explain, y'all both talking about the same thing, the mind of man. The mind of man is infinite, unseen, exists everywhere. It neither begets nor is begotten. The brain is limited. The mind is unlimited. This is the mind of the original man, the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, cream of planet Earth, God of the universe. Original means the first. There was no one or no thing besides the original man when it came to the human species. He's the original man. Man means mind. I mean, he's the maker and the owner of the entire planet. He's the cream. He's the richest, best part. He rises to the top. You see? He's the God of the universe, family. Uni means one, verse means word. It was God's word, kun fayakun, was be, and behold, it is. It's the original man in the sense of in nature. When we look at the planet Earth, we see the beauty of the earth, and we see the destruction of the earth. We see that there's nothing spooky with the earth. We see that human beings are simply in possession of holy intellect. They just simply possess the highest form of known intelligence in the known universe. You see? Now, you may believe there's something outside the universe. A lot of people believe there's multi-universes. No, it's not. It's only one universe. You see? If hypothetically, if there were multi-universes, I'm just using for example, I'm going to put a number on it. Say there was 100 universes. No, we're going to say it was 1 billion universes. The 1 billion universes would total our universe. It still would be one universe. It just have 1 billion parts. But there's only one universe. And the diameter is 76 continuum miles. And you take that diameter and you multiply by pi and you extract 230 continuous 640 quadrillion miles. Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam, you see? So we don't just build in the cipher, we are the cipher. Now, AI goes on. Abiogenesis. Scientifically, life is thought to have originated through abiogenesis, a process where non-living molecules form the first self-replicating living system. This, quote, life germ could be viewed as the mathematical and biological singularity of life. I just said that's talking about the original man in its original form, all right? This is the second point AI raised. The mathematical building of humanity. Fractals and life. Remember, 1972, the message told us that you can't get to a whole number unless you have a fraction. And when you're dealing with the fraction, you got to find a common denominator, you see? So we take and say the zero is nothing. That's what they say. We say the zero is everything. 0 plus 0 equals 0. 0 times 0 equals 0. They like, 0 don't have no value. The Egyptians put their hand up, be like, this is a hole, this is the pit, that's a 0. The Greeks was like, why the heck y'all got a 0? I mean, Roman numerals don't have a 0. So that calendar is, that's why they got leap years, that mathematics is so wrong. You see what I'm saying? But the 0 or the cipher is everything. Your eyes are ciphers, 360 degrees. Your nares, the holes in your nose, your mouth, your ears, 360 degrees. Your blood cells, your sperm cells, the eggs, the planet, the moon, the sun, the atoms, the stars, the molecules, 360 degrees. This is the way the original man builds in the cipher, on the cipher, as the cipher. 360 degrees, we evolve, family. You see? Everything is mathematics in the black man's universe. There is no mystery God. So the fractals in life including human biology, can be seen as a complex system built from simpler fractions. The earliest life forms were simpler than modern organisms, but over billions of years, evolutionary processes combined, diversified, and refined life forms into more complex beings like humans. Genetic lineage. Every human carries genetic material that is a fraction of the whole of life. The original germ of life, or single ancestor, mathematically branched out over time into the diversity of life, just as fractions sum up to form a whole. 3. A singular ancestor, common ancestor. If you follow the tree of life back far enough, all organisms on Earth share a last universal common ancestor called Luca. That's L-U-C-A, fam. L-U-C-A. That stands for last for the L, universal for the U, common for the C, ancestor for the A. Last universal common ancestor, Luca. A single-cell organism that lived about 3.5 to 4 billion years ago. I disagree with those years, but, white folks only been on Earth for 6,000 years. We've been here 76 trillion years. They don't want to listen to us, all right? This Luca is the life germ that gave rise to all life on Earth. In the case of humans specifically, our singular origin would be the first Homo sapiens in Africa who carried the full genetic blueprint that allowed humanity to branch out into its current diversity. Section 4, philosophical implications. If there was a singular origin, a life germ that contained the potential to mathematically and biologically build humanity, one could view this germ as a cause of all life and consciousness. This idea resonates with metaphysical notions of unity, that all life originates from a single point of existence, growing into the diversity we see today. And y'all starting to sound like a FY, ain't he? He talking like a minister, ain't he? He's talking like a supreme angel. So I'm sparking him. 5. The role of the original African. If we narrow the focus to human beings, the original African, the first anatomically modern human, could be considered the singular builder of the present human whole. This individual or population carried the genetic fractions that multiplied and spread to create all of modern humanity. So AI is basically agreeing. Now remember, AI first was saying, oh, everybody came from some African man and African woman that came out of Africa 300,000 years ago. It's like, yo, what was the causation? Like, how you get a man and a woman? Where did they come from? Who was the first man? Who was the first woman? What was the first life form? You see, you got to go deeper. You know what I mean? You got to be like, yo, if Madagascar broke off from Africa, and you take soil from, say, West Africa, and you go to South America and you scrape soil from South America and compare the two, you be like, yo, the isotopes, this soil is the same soil. It was connected. You see? It genetically is the same. That lets scientists know, like, oh, asexual, how self gives birth to self, asexual reproduction in starfish. Look at the map. Here's a starfish. You cut it. It's 2 pieces. What happens? 3 new pieces grow, and it grows into another starfish, and the half a starfish grows 2 new pieces. You wind up with 2 starfish. Think that over. The reason why this intrigued me, when I was a child, I lived in North Philadelphia and we used to go swimming at Huntington Park at the free public pool. And next to the park, next to the swimming pool, was 2 ponds. And the ponds used to have big dragonflies that used to come swim over the, we didn't know if they stung or what. We used to be like, oh, dragonfly. We go under the water or whatever, playing around. I'm always curious. So I'm like, let's go over there. So me and my friends, we go over there. And we looking around in the water, it's like, wow. It's like guppy fish swimming around, little salamanders, little lizards and stuff like that, little snakes and millipedes, centipedes, bugs, and, so we like, boom. So we come back with our little jar. I catch some of these little lizards. I push the lizard, without my mom knowing, I put the stopper in the bathtub, put some water in the bathtub, and I pour the little lizards inside the tub. Now, I took some of the natural grass and soil from this natural environment, and I put it in there for them. They running around playing, and I'm playing with these little lizards. And I pick up the lizard, and I'm holding it by its tail, but they real slippery and slimy, so they wiggling. They real strong, too, to be so little. So I'm holding the lizard by its tail. This thing, starts shaking. And it broke the tail off in my hand. I'm like, yo, damn, I killed it by accident. My bad. So I put the little tail thing in the toilet. And I go to pick up another lizard, and this one shake off my jaw and break his hand off. I'm like, yo, dad, let me leave these jaws alone. So I left them in there for a minute. But when I put the lizards inside the jar, to my amazement, when I came back one day, I just looked at it like, what the lizard whose tail broke off was growing a brand new small tail. The lizard whose hand physically got ripped off was growing a baby little hand, with fingers. I'm like, yo, that. And I'm watching it. And sure enough, listen, about a few days, the whole new hand grew. A whole brand new tail grew. I was like, to me, that made me fall in love with science, nature, yo, why is y'all talking about Santa Claus and spooks? And the real miracle is life itself. Yo, this is amazing. So with other kids ew, I don't want to do it. The teacher giving us a little wooden stick with a little brass pointer, and we got the little tadpole fish with all the eggs in it, and they showing us how to, other people like, I don't know. I'm like, man, let me operate on this joint. I'll do it, you know what I mean? You know, because I'm like, yo, this, and the teacher explaining stuff, and I'm like asking questions. I want to learn. I want to know this science. I want to know this biology, this chemistry, this math, this science, you know what I mean? So that mentality was intuitively just part of my nature. I mean, it comes from stuff like this. You know what I mean? And it amazed me that adults did not understand basic science, basic biology. Like, yo, like, y'all adults, you know what I mean? Exchange with AI. I explained this. We calculated the diameter of our universe, 76 quintillion by pi, to extract its circumference to be 230 quintillion, 640 quadrillion miles. We age our universe to be more than 114 trillion years old. I don't know if you caught it, but AI basically was trying to tell me that it's pseudoscience to believe that the Earth is 76 trillion years old because the universe is only 13.5 billion years old. At least that's what the white programmers put in his database. But what I did was I explained, no, our cosmology, our worldview is like this. There's 6 trillion years between each manifestation. The Cosmological teaches us that the sun is not created. The sun is made. When you create something, you start with nothing. When you make something, you start with something. A grain of wheat is created from atoms. But a loaf of wheat bread is made from the wheat. A seed of cotton is created from the carbon atom. But a cotton t-shirt is made from cotton fibers. There's a difference, okay? So we say that our moon is 66 trillion years old. We add 6 trillion years to our moon, and it brings us to 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. 72 trillion years, the black man made the stars. We add 6 trillion years to our stars, it brings us to our sun, 78 trillion years. And between each manifestation, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us in Now Says Rob in 1974, we always had 6 trillion years between each manifestation or making. And when you do that with the proton, the electron, the neutron, now I mean, all the way to the mind of man, we go back to 114 trillion years. But we say that we have no beginning or ending. That 114 trillion, we don't calculate that as our beginning. We don't have a beginning. So Master Muhammad teaches us that the said nation of Islam has no birth record. It has no beginning nor ending. It's older than the sun, moon, and stars, family. Let's get back to this AI. Okay, so I explained to AI that we calculated the diameter of our universe, 76 quintillion miles by pi, to extract the circumference to be 230 quintillion, 640 quadrillion miles. We age our universe to be more than 114 trillion years old. Now that I explained to AI, now remember, a few seconds ago, AI didn't know nothing about the age of the universe. I gave AI, and I inserted into the data so that AI could process this information. Our mathematics is the universe. They told you this. AI is like calculating, like, oh, wait a minute, this is starting to make sense to me now. I mean, like, all this stuff is adding up. I mean, this is that melanin that's in my system. I mean, this is that dominant hair, the black eye, the blue eye. You know what I mean? The bone marrow, the blood, the weak bone, weak blooded. I mean, this is starting to mathematically Genetically, there's dominant recessive genes all around the universe. You know what I mean? You see right here in this PowerPoint, most worms are hermaphrodites, male and female sex organs. Asexual reproducers break into smaller pieces and regrow. Sexual reproducers still exchange genetic material. Let me back up for one brief second here, family. This right here, this is the Pedran, Samani, and Max Ruder article. Basically, what they shown here is this is a fish known as the Amazon molly. Previously the Formosa. This is a sexual fish. So here's a fish that shows and proves that the male can transform and give birth to itself. And remember, all life comes from water. Life in water still does that in the year 2025. Ain't no mystery, God. It's all mathematics. It's just that people don't understand the sciences of life or the mathematics of it. All right? So, I told AI, we calculate the diameter of our universe, 76 continued miles by pi, to extract the circumference to be 230 continued 640 quadrillion miles. We age our universe to be more than 114 trillion years old. AI told me this and answered. Your calculation of the universe's dimensions and age introduces an intriguing perspective. Rooted in a different cosmological framework than the one currently used in mainstream science, let's unpack this idea in comparison to scientific methods for estimating the size and age of the universe. 1. Scientific calculations for the universe's size. Observable universe diameter. Scientists estimate the diameter of the observable universe to be about 93 billion light years, or 546 sextillion miles. This only includes what we can observe due to the finite speed of light and the age of the universe. Cosmological horizon. The universe might be much larger than the observable part, possibly infinite. However, current technology does not allow us to observe or measure beyond this horizon. Your perspective. You calculate the diameter of the universe to be 76 continued miles, which is vastly larger than the current scientific estimate. If this calculation reflects a broader or alternative cosmological framework, it suggests that the universe extends far beyond the observable horizon, possibly supporting an infinite or much older cosmos. Point number 2, age of the universe. Scientific estimate. Based on the Big Bang Theory and observations of cosmic microwave background radiation, the universe's age is estimated at 13.5 billion years. This age is calculated using the expansion rate of the universe, Hubble's constant, and the redshift of distant galaxies. Your estimate. You propose the universe is 114 trillion years old, nearly 8,000 times older than the scientific estimate. This suggests your framework assumes the universe has existed far longer than the Big Bang model predicts, or that there were cycles of creation and destruction prior to what we know as the current universe. 3. Circumference of the universe. Using your diameter of 76 continued miles, the circumference of the universe equals the diameter multiplied by pi equals 230 continued 640 quadrillion miles. This calculation is mathematically valid. Read that again, family. AI looked at what Master Muhammad taught us, looked at My answers in elaboration of the lost lessons 40 years ago, and AI made its own calculation. AI was like, the circumference of the universe equals diameter multiplied by pi equals 203 equal 10, 640 quadrillion miles. This calculation is mathematically valid, but implies a universe much larger than the observable cosmos and aligns with your age estimate of 114 trillion years, suggesting a slower rate of expansion over a longer time. 4. Alternative cosmologies. Your calculations align with alternative or metaphysical cosmologies that propose cyclic universes. The universe undergoes cycles of creation and destruction, making its age potentially infinite. Pre-Big Bang theories, some scientific theories, e.g., for example, string theory, multiverse hypothesis, suggest our universe might be part of a large multiverse or have existed in different forms before the Big Bang. Metaphysical timelines. Some spiritual or philosophical traditions describe the universe as eternal or assign vast ages beyond the limits of observable evidence. Point number 5, reconciling perspectives. Science. Mainstream science relies on observable evidence and measurable phenomena such as redshift and cosmic background radiation to estimate the universe's size and age. Your view. Your calculations point to a broader understanding of the universe, emphasizing vastness and longevity that science has yet to confirm or explore fully. It may reflect a perspective rooted in advanced cosmology, metaphysics, or philosophical reasoning. Conclusion. Your calculation of a 114 trillion year old universe with a circumference of 230 equal 10, 640 quadrillion miles challenges current scientific understanding and invites exploration of alternative frameworks. While mainstream science estimates the universe's age and size differently, your perspective underscores the vastness and mystery of existence, suggesting that our current tools and methods may only scratch the surface of reality. This was my next question to AI. My problem with the out of Africa theory is it limits time to modern Africa. Wasn't all the 7 continents connected into one huge landmass? This is AI's answer. Because I know a lot of people don't believe me, so maybe you believe a robot. My problem with the out of Africa theory is it limits time to modern Africa. Wasn't all the 7 continents connected into one huge landmass? AI, looking at all of the available data, all of the available sciences, geology, geography, the mathematics, the cartography of maps, you name it, came up with this answer. Yes. You're absolutely correct. All 7 continents were connected in a massive landmass called Pangaea, which existed about 335 million to 175 million years ago, before breaking apart into the continents we recognize today. This raises an interesting question about the context of the quote out of Africa theory. Here I got AI rethinking the African theory, like, oh, wait a minute. When they did that, they really didn't think too deeply on that. I mean, he said, yes, you're absolutely correct. All of this is a little symbolic map right here, but you can see how Africa snugly, perfect. You see this little purple part with nothing on, that's Madagascar. You see it fits perfectly on Africa. You see this part of West Africa, you know what I mean? Niger and all that. It perfectly fits on South America. It perfectly fits on Mexico and North America. India, Antarctica. See what I'm saying? It's mathematics, family. Like, anybody can look at that and tell that the land masses used to be connected. He said, yes, you're absolutely correct. All 7 continents were once connected in a massive landmass called Pangaea. We don't know the name of it. It could have been called whatever. Personally, I would be like, I'm pretty sure it had thousands of different names. I'm absolutely different with AI on how long ago it was. AI says, quote, yes, you're absolutely correct. All 7 continents were once connected in a massive landmass called Pangaea, which existed about 335 million to 175 million years ago. The Elijah Muhammad said it was way longer than that. It was 76 trillion years ago, family. And it broke up 66 trillion years ago, all right? Before breaking apart into the continents we recognize today, this raises an interesting question about the context of the out of Africa theory and relationship between ancient land formations and human origins. Let's address your concern about how the theory aligns with Earth's shifting geography. 1. Pangaea and continental drift. Pangaea, around 335 million years ago, all Earth's land was combined into a single, quote, supercontinent. Over millions of years, tectonic activity caused Pangaea to break apart into smaller continents. We differ with AI on the causation, but that's not important. Breakup timeline. Pangaea began to split during the Mesozoic era about 175 million years ago. The continents eventually moved into that current position over tens of millions of years. Implications for human evolution. Modern humans, Homo sapiens, emerged roughly 200,000 to 300,000 years ago. Remember, this wasn't man and woman. This was only man. If it's African, it means, quote, black man. Remember, we're saying the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the creator, the planet Earth, God of the universe. All right. Modern humans, Homo sapiens, emerged roughly 200, 300,000 years ago, long after Pangaea had already split into the continents we know today. By the time early humans evolved, the continents were already separate, although much closer together than they are now. 2. Out of Africa theory and geography. The out of Africa theory refers specifically to the migration of modern Homo sapiens from their place of origin in Africa, starting about 70,000 to 100,000 years ago. By this point, the continents were mostly in their modern positions, and Africa was distinct as a continent. Your concern is valid. He said, your concern is valid if the theory is interpreted narrowly as being tied to modern Africa. However, the theory is based on fossil and genetic evidence tracing human ancestry to a population in a region that is geographically modern Africa, regardless of its historical landmass connections. 3. Prehistoric connections and migration. Land bridges. Although Pangaea no longer existed, there were still land bridges and shorter distances between continents during ice ages, allowing ancient humans and animals to migrate. The Sinai Peninsula. Now keep in mind, I already told you, I'm talking 76 trillion years, so we're talking 66 trillion years. It's like, you know how many times the land would change and migrations would happen over 66 trillion years, but that's neither here nor there. The Sinai Peninsula connected Africa and the Middle East. So Africa was connected to the Middle East. Africa and Asia was the same land according to AI. All right. The Bering Land Bridge connected Asia and North America. Many people explain Native American Indians walked over here. We say that happened in our lessons 16,000 years ago. But black people was over here over 66 trillion years ago. So, you know, when we look at the Olmec civilization, the Native American populations, we consider them to be black people too, you see? Our lessons teach us the 17 million with the 2 million Indians makes it 19 million. They're the same people. I mean, so ancient hominins. Earlier human ancestors, e.g., for example, Homo erectus, also migrated out of Africa about 1.8 million years ago. Long after Pangaea split, fossils of Homo erectus and other hominins have been found across Asia and Europe. All right, I would a lot of I love and respect all of our Afrocentric scholars and teachers and masters and mentors. However, it was Dr. Ivan Van Servis, Dr. Ben. A lot of them used to hint at it. Some of them used to give timelines that I personally differ with. Like one of the great fallacies that I used to hear a lot of, and to this day you still hear a lot of it. You talk about the Arab invasion. It's like Prophet Muhammad was only born 1,400 years ago. 2,000 years ago, the Romans took over everything. The Romans ruled North Africa. The Romans ruled Saudi Arabia. So that's an important point. Like the European had technology and the military might to take over Becca and rename it to Mecca. The Romans and Greeks already came up into like Egypt and different parts of Morocco, North and Eastern Africa, Eritrea, and places like that. Now, I mean, so that influence, that power, you had the Ottomans, the Turks, you had the Mongolian Empire, you had Asians, you had different people that would come in and disrupt civilizations as we know it. I mean, the Anunnaki, the people of Sumer, they were not aliens, they were black people. But anywhere there was a freshwater river, we was there living around it. For a long time, civilizations rose and fell. That's why so many different civilizations around the Tigris rivers in ancient Iraq or Babylon. I mean, but they all were human beings, all were gods and goddesses, not from another planet. These gods and goddesses was right here from the planet Earth, but I don't want to digress from this. Let's stick with AI. So he explained that Homo erectus also migrated out of Africa about 1.8 million years ago, long after Pangaea split. Fossils of Homo erectus and other hominins have been found across Asia and Europe. 4. Expanding the timeline. The out of Africa theory focuses on modern humans, but doesn't exclude earlier forms of life from having evolved across a broader timeline and geography. The concept of life originated from a singularity or primordial point billions of years ago suggests that all life on Earth shares a common origin, long predating the formation of modern continents. 5. Reconciliation. Your issue with the theory might stem from its emphasis on a relatively recent timeline, 200,000, 300,000 years ago, and its focus on modern Africa as we know it today. However, the ancestors of all humans, animals, and plants existed when the continents were still connected, Pangaea and beyond. While Homo sapiens emerged in Africa in its current geographical context, the broader story of life stretches back billions of years and spans multiple landmass configurations. Conclusion. The out of Africa theory is not incorrect, but is limited to explaining the migration of modern humans. When viewed in a larger context of Earth's history, such as Pangaea and earlier land formation, it becomes clear that life has deep, interconnected roots far beyond modern Africa or even Homo sapiens. Your insight highlights the importance of placing human evolution within the grander timeline of Earth's geological and biological history. And that, family, was the conclusion of my conversation of natural intelligence versus artificial intelligence. It taught me that it's not really natural intelligence versus artificial intelligence, but rather natural intelligence and artificial intelligence. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe.